Hello everybody. This is gonna be a kind of new, in some ways, episode. Me and a few of my friends have recently started up a Pokemon battling league called the PSN, Pokemon Sports Network. It's kind of a takeoff of the TSN. I am the main organizer. I've drawn up, like, the seasons. Um, this is only season 1, so it's still kind of in testing, but we have learned from some bigger ones, like the GBA, the UCL, and the ESPNU. So we did make some ground rules, like Mega Metagross is banned. We also moved Gothitelle back up to RU, and because it can still use Shadow Tag. We moved Pinsir down to NU. Mega Pinsir stayed in OU. There are a few more changes. I'm pretty sure we dropped Mega Manectric to UU, and same with Manectric. I am not 100% sure, though. I have a list written down, just not with me. But as you can see on the screen, we have some of my picks for this season. So we got 3 OU, 3 UU, 3 RU, and 3 NU. And we could draft a Mega whenever we wanted. So for me, for my first pick, I had the first overall pick because so first of all, a formal introduction. Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the PSN. I am your coach of the Toronto Maple Leafions. It's Pitts. That's going to be our team name. But just for this whole introduction thing, yeah, that's how it's gonna go. We're probably not gonna start the battling for the next, like, 2 weeks, maybe. So on Fridays, I'm gonna put up a team prep video, and on Saturdays, I'm gonna put up the battle. The other 3 people in it are Max, who you guys may know. We've been on the channel a few times. He is starting up his own channel, Mole Gaming. It hasn't started yet, so I won't be able to put a link in the description, but as soon as it starts, I will put it in. He will, hopefully, this season, be able to get the videos on YouTube. He might not be, so it's not that big of a deal if his point of view of the battles don't get up, because the other 3 members, me, who are going to get my battles put up, Isaac and Matthew might become expansion teams. Trinity might become an expansion team. Max's brother might become an expansion team. This is only season 1. The other 2 teams, I don't think he's been on the channel, but, sorry, Max's team is the Jamaican Smokin' Weedles. I don't know where the team name came from. The JMS, Jamaican Smokin' Weedles. It is pretty funny, though. The other team is Sebastian, who is the coach of the Toronto Star Raptors. And the final coach is Sebastian's brother, Julian, coach of the Toronto Swab Blue Jays. So we met up and we did this draft. And as you can see, I have what I picked and then what they're going to be nicknamed under it. Everything is shiny here. We are going to be having battles on Showdown, not in the games. And everything is shiny here. That's not going to be the case, because some things like Wheezing, I hate the shiny for. I hate the shiny for Mega Scizor. I hate the shiny. I don't hate it, but I feel like normal Cresselia looks better, and normal Shinchino. Also, normal Excadrill looks better, but I don't hate the shinies for them. And also, I do think that normal Scrafty looks better. But let's start with OU. So we had the very first pick because we did a practice round before where I got the last pick because I volunteered. So we just did an opposite order this time. So I got the first pick, Max got the second pick, Sebastian got the third pick, and then Sebastian's brother got the last pick, and then he got the next pick. So it kind of went like down the line, then back up the line. So me with the first pick picked up Excadrill, because I do think that Excadrill is something, it's very useful. especially in a counter team format, because it has so many different things you can do with it. You can make it a sweeper with Swords Dance, and yeah, you can make it a sweeper, Swords Dance, Iron Head, Earthquake, Stone Edge. You can make it Rock Setter, set up rocks. You can have Toxic Protect. You can make it physical. You can make it special. And also, it has the ability to Rapid Spin, which gets the rocks and spikes off your side of the field, but not off your opponent's. Right? Which is so helpful, because Defog, let's say I just wanted to randomly Defog, I'd have to get rid of my own rocks and set them up again. That's the problem with running Defog on a Talonflame, on a Mega Scizor, right? I think Cresselia might get Defog, I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's why I thought that Excadrill would be a perfect pick. Now, I'm actually going to pull out the draft list that I have here. So, the next pick went to Max, and of course, he just picked his favorite thing. He picked Breloom. I feel like this season, Max wasn't really, like, into the draft, because he was kind of sitting there. He wasn't really, like, paying attention. Same with Sebastian's brother, but Sebastian's brother is a better player, so he doesn't need to be totally focused. So I feel like Max didn't have the best draft. So he just drafted Breloom because it's one of his favorites. Now this went to Sebastian, who had this next pick. Now he drafted Mega Charizard X, which is a huge threat. And then it went to Sebastian's brother, who drafted Mega Altaria, mostly because it was his team name, right? He couldn't just not pick his team name. And then he got the pick again, so he picked Hawlucha, which is a pretty big threat. I'm not gonna lie, it's not that easy to deal with. It's not the best thing for the 5th pick, though. There could have been better options, but it's still pretty good. And then it went back to Sebastian, who picked Clefable. Clefable, which is a pain, a huge pain, but I do have Excadrill. And then it went back to Max, who picked, well, my 3rd pick was originally Landorus Therain, and Max's 2nd pick was originally Mega Scizor, but we decided to trade them because I looked at it and I already had a ground and a flying type, and I realized I didn't need Landorus Therain, and Max also had a really bad thing with Mega Scizor. His team just wasn't looking good, so he agreed to trade. It was one of those trades where, like, he was getting a good thing from Landorus Therain, but I was getting a good thing from Mega Scizor, so it was like, you wouldn't really want to give up any of them, either of them, but in my situation, I would rather have the Mega Scizor, and in his situation, he'd rather have the Landorus Therain. But he picked Mega Scizor, which is actually a Landorus Therain, and that was my pick again. And I looked at Max's squad, and he had a Breloom and a Mega Scizor at the time, and I was like, well, what deals with them? Charizard? Well, Charizard was already picked. So I looked at the other things. Charizard had already been... So Charizard was there. I had Excadrill to deal with Charizard. I had Excadrill to deal with Clefable from Sebastian. And I had Excadrill to deal with Mega Altaria from Sebastian's brother Julian. And then there's the Hawlucha. So something that took care of the Hawlucha and both of Max's picks was Talonflame, or as I like to call it, the lower tier, or should be lower tier, Charizard. Talonflame. I was really mad when drafting this because I didn't like it at all. After I realized that there were so many better options than Talonflame, I like to call it. That's why its nickname is going to be Talonflame. And also the Excadrill's nickname, I forgot to say this, is going to be Lavender. Just because it's like, its color isn't actually lavender, it's more of a burgundy and a turquoise. But that's just what I used to think that was lavender. So yeah. And then next, my next thing, this wasn't my pick. I picked Landorus Therain, then realized I would rather have Mega Scizor. It's more just because it's a Mega, and everyone always just expects it to be Swords Dance Bullet Punch. But if you have a Tailwind up or Sticky Webs up, you don't have to run Bullet Punch. Instead, you can run something with higher base power, because you know you'll outspeed with the Swords Dance. Like I was saying, Bug Bite gets boosted by Technician. That's better power than an X-Scissor, and if you're outspeeding because Sticky Rubs or Tailwind's up, then Scizor can sweep, right? So that's another thing that people wouldn't expect. But then after that, another thing that people wouldn't expect would be to run a defensive set, which I've actually done before with Iron Defense, Substitute, Toxic, and Bullet Punch on your Mega Scizor. It may seem really weird, but Mega Scizor's defenses are not that bad. Are actually pretty good. I'm pretty sure that it's base 140 defense and then base 150 attack. So if you get maxed out defense, nothing affects you. Even like a fire punch you can take. And if you're behind a sub, then yeah, your special defense is the only thing you have to worry about it. But even then, it's not that bad. I think it's like base 85. So that's why I picked Mega Scizor. So then we went down to and then it went to Max, who picked Keldeo, to Sebastian, who picked Manaphy, and then to Julian, who picked Sableye. And yeah, so that was OU. Then it went down to UU, and I had the first pick again, and I picked the Moonduck himself, Cresselia, just because I didn't have a Psychic type yet. Psychic types are powerful, and it is a great wall, and I knew that Sebastian wanted it. So if I had let it go, Sebastian would have gotten 2 picks before, and there's a good chance that he would have grabbed it. But then again, I think that he got the better end of the stick, because the next pick after that was Max picked Mega Swampert, which, I don't know, that was a really weird pick since he already had Keldeo and Landorus Terrain. But I don't know, he had Landorus Terrain at that point. We traded as soon as OU finished, so the trade has already happened. And then Sebastian got Reluniclus, which is a great Trick Room, Recover, Calm Mind Sweeper. I think it actually is a little bit better than Cresselia, but then in a battle, I feel like I could deal with Reluniclus with my, like, various things. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 things that are super effective on it. So yeah, I think I can deal with that. And then it went to Julian, who drafted Vaporeon and then Shaman, which are 2 incredibly scary things. Back to Sebastian, who drafted Cobalion, which was actually, so far, Sebastian had his entire draft already planned out, and he got all of the OU things he wanted, and so far he's had all of the UU things he wanted. Then it went to Max, who drafted Entei, which, I don't know, it wasn't necessarily bad, but it didn't help its team at all. It was another physical attacker, which he already had 4 of. That was his 4th one out of his 5 picks. He didn't have any walls yet, so it was an interesting pick by Max. Then it went back to me, who got 2 picks in a row, and I picked Florges. Because in the practice draft we did, I didn't have any fairy types, and Sebastian had drafted Mega Sableye, and he beat me just because I had nothing to do to it. The only Pokemon that I had even drafted that could learn a fairy type move was Jirachi. So I decided I wasn't going to make that mistake again, and I just went right for Florges. And it can also take bulk, it can pass a wish, it can do a lot of things. So right now my team's looking actually really bulky. So I said, well, I need an all-out attacker, and I already had 2 special attackers in Cresselia and Florges, 2 physicals in Mega Scizor and, what's it called, Excadrill, and then I had 1 mixed in Talonflame. So I was like, well, my 2 special attackers are more bulky than special attacking. They don't hit that hard special, when my physical attackers and mixed attackers are really meant to hit hard. So I said, let's just grab a hitting hard special attacker, because I didn't have one that really breaks holes. And I decided to draft Spooderman, the Galvantula, because Galvantula, it looks good in a Scarf, because a thing that I like to run is Giga Drain, Bug Buzz, Thunder, Bolt, and Volt Switch in the Scarf, so it's just you lead with it and Volt Switch out immediately. And unless one of your opponents has a ground type, which I think they all do, I'm just checking the list. Actually, Julian does not have a ground type on his list, so I can just Volt Switch in and out. Max has One, two. Max has two, and they're both in his for top four picks. Lando and Mega Swampert, so there's a big chance that he's going to bring at least one of them. And Sebastian has Crocodile, and there could be a chance that he doesn't bring it. There could be a chance. It is rare because that would be, yeah, there's a chance that he doesn't bring it. So I could abuse him with Volt switch in, switch out too, but yeah, he's just a good all-out special attacker. And then it went Max drafted Blissey, Sebastian drafted Crocodile, and then Julian drafted Darmanitan to end it off. And then it went to RU. So I went straight for a bulky physical wall, because I already had two special walls. Cofagrius. The nicknames are under them. Some of them you might not get. I can explain them in depth later. But Cofagrius is good because it can take hits, it can pain split, it can will-o-wisp, it can set up toxic spikes, which is a big thing that I like. I like to get things poisoned because I don't like to get things normally poisoned or burned. I feel like those are the two worst status conditions. Badly poisoned, paralyzed, and frozen, and sleep are the good ones, in my opinion. So if I can get 2 layers of toxic spikes up, I'm good. I can get a pain split off, get my health back, and then just start. I wouldn't carry will-o-wisp at that point, except unless they had like a lot of steel types that I thought that they would bring, or fly levitators that I think wouldn't get hit. Like, I'd bring will-o-wisp against me because I have. So Excadrill doesn't get affected by them. Talonflame doesn't. Mega Scizor doesn't. Cresselia doesn't. And then Weezing doesn't. So that's 5 of my really good mons that I'm really gonna probably bring to most of them that don't get affected. Right? So Toxic Spikes, I probably wouldn't even bring them against myself, but I'm not going up against myself, so that's good. And then Max drafted Exploud, which was the first thing that Sebastian wanted that someone else had picked, so he had to pick Tangrowth. And then the Swallow Jays picked Jolteon, which was another thing that the Star Raptors were looking at. And then they picked up Meloetta. And then, so the Star Raptors were forced to take Smeargle instead. And then Registeel was picked. And then I picked Scrafty. Scrafty's really good. It gets Dragon Dance. I don't really think I have to explain this that much. It gets all the elemental punches. Drain Punch, Dragon Dance, Marks. You can also run Scarfed Moxie. You can run Banded Moxie. You can run Dragon Dance Assault Vest, Dragon Dance Life Orb. There's just a lot of different items. It uses any item, pretty much, except it doesn't use Assault Vest the best. So then I picked up, my next pick was Shinchino. Shinchino, it just hits hard. I'm surprised that no one picked it before me. The only thing I picked it was because I didn't have a normal type yet, and I don't really know why I wanted them. It's more because it doesn't have any weaknesses, and it's a good swap in for a ghost type. So far I didn't really have one, because I didn't have anything besides the Scrafty that resisted ghost, and the Scrafty might not come every week, but this thing, it's pretty good. So then it went back, and Max took Drapion. Sebastian had to take Electros because the Jolteon he wanted was taken, and then this Julian took Golbat. So now it came to NU, and first thing that I wanted, I just scooped up Weezing. It's so good. It should honestly be RU lowest, probably UU, or BL2 at least. I don't know why it's not. I'm just gonna leave that to Game Freak, but you guys don't really need an explanation on why Weezing is so good. It's just good. And then it went to Max, who got Regirock. Sebastian got Archeops, which he didn't actually want. The Julian got Dusknoir, and then he got Avalugg. Then Sebastian got Garbodor, which he wanted. Max then got Vivillon, and then I picked up Leafion. I just couldn't really leave it. It was our team mascot after all, and also it does serve some purpose. It's not that bad. It's bulky, and it can serve as a sweeper. And then I just picked up Glaceon for the end, and I hope you liked the video. it was a good team update, and I'll keep you posted. Bye bye.